Shalom everyone. This video is about Yisrael or Israel, true Israel, the Israel that was established by the Most High, the Israel that came from Yaakov or Jacob, the Israel that was to be the ambassador for the earth to spread Yahweh's holy word. This Israel that became a people that became lost. Being lost because of their love for idols and idolatry. This image is to symbolize that, to symbolize the many lovers or idols, gods and goddesses that Israel embraced. Here in Yehezkiel or Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, starting at the first verse, we read, "And it came to be in the 6th year, in the 6th month, on the 5th of the month, as I sat in my house with the elders of Yehudah sitting before me, that the hand of the master, Yahweh, fell upon me there. And I looked and saw a likeness, like the appearance of fire. From his waist and downward, the appearance was like fire. And from his waist and upward, the appearance of brightness, like glowing metal. And he stretched out the form of a hand and took me by a lock of my hair. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heavens, and brought me in visions of Elohim to Jerusalem, to the door of the north gate of the inner court, where the seat of the image of jealousy was, which causes jealousy, or idolatry. And see the esteem of Elohim of Yisrael was there, like the vision that I saw in the plain. The vision of jealousy, or the image of jealousy. These different images represent lovers of Yisrael. And this is what blinded Yisrael for many, many centuries. Because Yisrael was gifted with the task or with the assignment of bringing Yah's word. As we read that the image of jealousy was in the north gate of the inner court. That was idolatry. Let's continue to read. 8 and 5 of Ezekiel or Yehezkiel. And he said to me, "Son of man, please lift your eyes toward the north And I lifted my eyes northward, and north of the altar gate, I saw this image of jealousy in the entrance. And he said to me, Son of man, do you see what they are doing? The great abominations which the house of Yisrael are doing here, driving me away from my set apart place? And you are to see still greater abominations. Then he brought me to the door of the court, and I looked and saw a hole in the wall. And he said to me, Son of man, please dig into the wall. And when I dug into the wall, I saw a door. And he said to me, Go in and see the evil abominations which they are doing there. And I went in and looked and saw all kinds of creeping creatures, abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Yisrael carved all around on the walls. So when you see the image of jealousy, and you see Israel or Yisrael chasing after other gods and goddesses, this is where it was in the temple. Therefore, Israel, from its platform or from its place of power, had been compromised. Let's continue to read. And facing them stood 70 men of the elders of the house of Yisrael. And in their midst stood Yaazan Yahu, son of Shaphan. Each one had a censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. These are the priests who are participating in idolatry in the temple. And he said to me, Son of man, have you seen what the elders of the house of Yisrael are doing in the dark, each one in the room of his idols? These are the priests that was in the temple performing and serving idols. For they say, Yahweh does not see us. Yahweh have forsaken the land. And he said to me, You are to see still greater abominations which they are doing. And he brought me to the door of the north gate of the house of Yahweh. And I saw women sitting there weeping for Tammuz. Then he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? You are to see still greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the house of Yahweh. And there at the door of Hekel of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs toward the Hekel of Yahweh and their faces toward the east. And they were bowing themselves eastward to the sun. So you see Yahweh is very angry with this. He's very angry with the performance of these priests that were in the temple serving idols. This made Yahweh the El that they didn't want to see. This is what created the blindness of Yisrael. And you see that this was in the temple. So therefore, if the root of Yisrael, where Yahweh had his house, and the Levites at the particular time were performing these rituals in the temple, now you can start to see how Israel became as blind as they did. 17. And he said to me, have you seen, O son of man? Is it a small matter to the house of Yehudah to do the abominations which they have done here? For they have filled the land with violence and turned back to provoke me. And see, they are putting the branch to my nose. So they're provoking Yahweh, because they actually felt like Yahweh did not see them. Therefore, I shall indeed deal in wrath. Therefore, I shall indeed deal in wrath, which means Yahweh had to come and bring punishment upon Yisrael for their idolatrous ways. My eye shall not pardon, nor shall I spare. And they shall cry in my ears with a loud voice, but I shall not hear them. So here we see the priests in the temple performing rituals to other gods and goddesses. Yahweh had to punish Israel from its root. And that's the thing about this word. When you deal with Yahweh's word and the source is corrupt, meaning Yisrael was lost due to being misdirected by these priests and by even the kings of Israel. Even false prophets misguided Israel. That's why it's very important to deal with Yahweh's word in truth and in spirit, meaning the spirit of Yahweh. So, if you've enjoyed the videos, subscribe, push the like button. And with that, I should bid you shalom, peace, and prosperity.